Now, anyone who's been to Lucknow would have heard of Tunday Kabab, the iconic savoury dish of Lucknow. Today it turned out there were no Tunday Kababs available. There were kebabs available, but the original Tunday Kabab, which serves buffalo meat, wasn't available because buffalo meat is now in short supply. Not just this. From Etawah, we received a report which said that lions weren't getting the food they wanted because buffalo meat wasn't available. They were being given goat meat, which apparently the lions don't seem to like very much. I want to kickstart this bulletin by getting you reports from across Uttar Pradesh on what's happening on the ground in the Yogi Raj.
Lucknow's iconic Tunday Kababi shop, famous the world over for its delicacies, heaven for foodies and meat lovers. But the new BJP government's crackdown on illegal slaughterhouses has severely affected business at this iconic chain of restaurants. So much so that the Akbari Gate outlet had to shut for a few hours on Wednesday. The branch is now back in service with buffalo meat dishes off the menu. The outlets are now only serving chicken and mutton dishes. The owners of Tunday Kababi say that buff dishes are no longer being served as there is a shortage of meat due to the anti-slaughterhouse drive.
We are joined by Haji Saab, who is actually the son of Murad Ali, and this shop is in Akbari Gate in Chowk, the oldest, the most traditional Tunday Kababi shop, now serving chicken and mutton. हाजी साहब, मजबूरी की वजह से आपको दुकान एक दिन बंद भी करनी पड़ी और दूसरे दिन फिर खोलें तो भी मजबूरी की वजह से।
जी हाँ, एक दिन मुझे दुकान को बंद करना पड़ी मजबूरी की वजह से, और आज हमने खोली भी तो वही मजबूरी की वजह से कि चिकन हमको बेचना पड़ा, मटन बेचना पड़ा।
अब आगे का क्या रास्ता हो?
हम आपसे बतलाया, हमारी गुजारिश है मुख्यमंत्री जी से कि आगे का कोई रास्ता निकालें। जो इलीगल हैं उनको बंद करें, जो लीगल हैं उनको खुलवाएं।
And it isn't just Tunday Kababi fans, even lions at Etawah's Lion Safari Park are facing the brunt of the meat shortage. Lions, which were earlier fed with buffalo meat, are being given goat meat now. The caretakers say that the lions may starve as they're not getting enough food.
हम लोगों को बहुत नुकसान हो रहा है, पूरी हमारी कौम को नुकसान हो रहा है, और इसके साथ साथ हमारा ये शेरों को मीट जाता था, वो पड्डे का मीट जाता था, लिहाजा उनको पड्डे का खाने को मीट भी नहीं मिल रहा। सरकार से यही मांग है कि हमारा तो कम से कम खोल दिया जाए, लोन सफारी के लिए, जो लोन सफारी के शेर भूखे न रहें, उनको हम मीट दे सकें।
The stated reason for the Yogi Adityanath government's drive to shut illegal slaughterhouses across the state is the dip in livestock populations. While this might or might not help the government's drive to boost the dairy industry, it's definitely a huge letdown for zoo animals and foodies and tourists who want a taste of Nawabi Lucknow's Tunday Kababi. With Mosmi Singh in Lucknow, Bureau Report, India Today.
Joining us on the Newsroom showdown tonight, Nawab Jafar Mir Abdullah. He's a member of the erstwhile royal family of Awadh. With us also Asuddin Owaisi, member of parliament. Sambit Patra is the spokesperson of the BJP. Before I begin my face-off tonight, I want to show you what new Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath did today. Yesterday, remember, we brought you exclusive pictures of the Chief Minister going floor to floor, room to room in the UP Assembly. Today, he went to the Hazratganj police station, wanted to see if there was water for people to drink, if the police had an adequate mechanism in place to deal with complaints. Remember, it's a message he's trying to send across Uttar Pradesh. Will this message work? Will he be able to fix the system? First, let me show you what the Chief Minister did, and then we start our debate tonight.
Surprise checks, impromptu inspections, stern instructions. Within days of taking charge, the new Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh has shown his commitment to shake up the system. Police officers at one of Lucknow's biggest police stations were in for a surprise when the CM himself walked in for an inspection.
BJP along with the SSP was taking him around everywhere. He did actually go and inspect that wing which you can see, that is the women police station. He went and inspected that spot. Then he went to the crime cell and went and had a look at the facilities that are available at the crime cell. And then after that, he did actually go to the SSP office and speak to the SSP and try to take information about what facilities are there in the police station.
The Chief Minister promised change very soon.
ये पहला निरीक्षण और अंतिम नहीं है, एक शुरुआत है। आप देखेंगे हर स्तर पर एक सुधार दिखाई देगा और उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर कानून का राज लागू होगा। जो भी आवश्यक होगा उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता के हित में हम लोग वह कदम उठाने में हिचकेंगे नहीं।
मुख्यमंत्री जी ने यहाँ जो पुलिस की इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, मूलभूत सुविधाएं हैं, उनके बारे में जानकारी हासिल की।
A day before, Adityanath had visited the Lucknow Secretariat, where officials were pulled up for the sorry state of affairs, and chewing tobacco and polythene were banned to ensure cleanliness. CM Yogi is trying hard to project an image of being a proactive administrator. But are photo ops in the heart of the state capital enough? Will the CM carry out similar inspections in the UP hinterland which sees the most lawlessness? With Mausami Singh in Lucknow, Bureau Report, India Today.
On the first day, he went after illegal slaughterhouses. On the second day, he unleashed his anti-Romeo squads. On day 3, the crusade seems to be against illegal construction. Can Yogi Adityanath help fix the image of Uttar Pradesh, help it become an Uttar Pradesh? Joining us on the Newsroom showdown tonight, Nawab Mir Jafar Abdullah, Asuddin Owaisi and Sambit Patra. I want to go across to Asuddin Owaisi first. Mr. Owaisi, 3 days, 3 different drives. The Uttar Pradesh administration is one which is known for lethargy, for not moving fast enough. They seem to be in a total overdrive at this time, moving much faster than we've seen in recent years. Do you believe all of this will help fix all the maladies that afflict Uttar Pradesh?
Well, first of all, let me please remind you that your production team told me that the topic of discussion would be Ram Mandir and Babri Masjid. But anyway, now you have...
okay, that's part 2. I must clarify, we're debating both. That's coming up in part 2 in just a moment from now.
I cannot sit here... So now, you talk about Uttar Pradesh being Ulta Pradesh, whatever it is. But I cannot give a certificate of good performance to a government which is not even 1 week old. But I can definitely point out to you the apprehensions and the incidents which have taken place in last 1 week. That is burning of 3 mutton shops in Hathras, hoisting the flag of BJP on a masjid in Bareilly, pamphlets in Bareilly, 4, the BJP MLA from Deoband saying that he has changed the name of Deoband to something else. Now these are, and also the video which has gone viral, wherein a Muslim family has been beaten, and we can hear voices from behind saying that now we have this chief minister, so better not mess with us. So as far as a weak performance is concerned, these are the incidents which have taken place. The chief minister is duty bound to live up to his constitutional responsibility. And if he does that, that is his responsibility. So no one is doing a favor by discharging his duties, which is expected from any government.
Fair enough. That's a good opening comment by Asuddin Owaisi. Let Sambit Patra respond. 3 meat shops burned down in Hathras. No one has been picked up so far. That crime remains unsolved. While there is a certain aggression to try and fix certain problems like pan, gutka, illegal slaughterhouses, people who are not fans of this government will wonder whether the priorities are skewed, because if this is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, then no one should be threatened, no one should be victimized, and all crimes should be dealt with equally, Dr. Patra.
First and foremost, let me in the outset say that this is a government. In fact, there's a travel from inactivity to proactivity. There was a 5-year-old government of Samajwadi Party which was inactive on various fronts, was not delivering, and that's the reason as to why they lost the election. But here is a government which has started delivering from the day one itself, trying to change the perception about the law and order situation of Uttar Pradesh and the lackadaisical approach of the previous government on various fronts of Uttar Pradesh. But as far as the so-called fear of a particular community is concerned, let me allay that fears for the viewers of India Today, and let me tell you, the Prime Minister himself, after the victory in Uttar Pradesh, while speaking and addressing the Karyakartas of Bharatiya Janata Party from the BJP headquarters, had quoted this phenomenal line that till the elections are all, it is all about Bahumat. But after the election, it is about Sarvamat. Everyone has to be taken together, and an all-round development of Uttar Pradesh is what is essential. Amit Shah, the party president, has always maintained that if you wish the GDP of India to go above 10%, then the GDP of Uttar Pradesh should change drastically, because Uttar Pradesh is one of the most contributive states as far as the economy
Owaisi, just asked you about the MLA from Devband, who's now put up these posters. We had a detailed ground report on the newsroom last night saying that Devband is now Devrind. People locally have already started calling it Devrind, those who are BJP supporters. We haven't heard the BJP come out and officially criticize that. The question that Asuddin Owaisi and others would ask is, all these changes are okay, but what about assuring people? You're saying Sarvamat, not Bahumat, but is that the message that's going down? We're seeing people from the Hindu Mahasabha, we're seeing people from various fringe organizations say, we are now the anti-Romeo Scots. You've got the police doing its bit as the anti-Romeo Scot. You've got other people who are fringe outfits saying, we are also the anti-Romeo Scot. They're also roaming around. I want to get you that report. See this report, Dr. Patra, because you've also got these reports coming in from different parts. You've got the police playing the role of an anti-Romeo Squad. Then you've got vigilante groups also playing the role of anti-Romeo squads. Here it is.
Anti-Romeo squads. The BJP's poll promise turns into reality in just 2 days after Yogi Adityanath took the reins of Uttar Pradesh. Questioning, detaining, and even punishing. The highly publicized squads got cracking on the streets of Uttar Pradesh. And many women are certainly feeling safer.
As our new CM of UP, Mr. Yogi Adityanath, he is doing very well for girls.
Day before yesterday, I saw the police cops were standing and they were, taking care that nothing such activities being done over here around the college. And the CM has taken a good initiative regarding this.
But what is one to do if the police start imposing their own morality on people in the name of anti-Romeo squads? Men being nabbed came to light. Congress in the name of checking eve-teasing. Controlling the spiraling law and order situation in UP is the need of the hour. But who will ensure that a force meant to protect doesn't turn into a unit enforcing its moral standards on others? Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, so you've got the anti-Romeo squads across Uttar Pradesh. Asuddin Owaisi, a lot of the women we spoke to in that report seem to be welcoming these anti-Romeo squads, saying that if they're coming to schools and colleges, that's good, because girls there have been harassed, they've been molested, they've been tormented for a long time. They seem to be welcoming this. The Home Minister, in that comment he made in Parliament, saying if somebody crosses the line, acts as vigilantes, they will be acted against. Is that reassuring for you, or do you think that's not good enough?
Well, you see, no girl or woman should be harassed, or any sort of trouble should happen. But you have to draw a line. Please remember that Uttar Pradesh is a state which has 55% police vacancies. There is a nearly shortage of 1,82,000 vacancies. Yes, I agree, this is a gift from the previous government. But the remark which has been made earlier by you, that the priorities of this government are completely different. How do you expect the police to control such sort of crimes when you have a vacancy rate of 55%? And secondly, you talked about the ban on meat. Can I inform you that Uttar Pradesh exports meat to the buffalo meat to the tune of 11,682 crores. You know the impact, the intransigence and the ambiguity of this government. If you want to ban the illegal slaughterhouses, why don't you regularize them? Or if not that, then increase the capacity of the legal slaughterhouses. Because 5 lakh people get employment over there. You want to make Uttar Pradesh, Uttam Pradesh, I don't know how you do it. The kind of impact which will have on leather industry. In the leather industry, UP is famous for leather industry. Agra, Kanpur, what will happen to that?
Important concerns you have.
The priorities are completely different.
Those are important
If
concerns.
you want to play to your gallery and to your ideology, that's a different ball game.
Okay. You're asking about unemployment, you're asking about 5 lakh jobs, you're asking about exports. Sambit Patra, you must respond. Yes, by all means, shut down illegal slaughterhouses. But all those people who are being rendered unemployed are wondering, okay, so what about my livelihood? How am I supposed to survive? Will the government provide a plan? How do you want to respond to what Asuddin Owaisi just said?
See, two parts. I mean, first, the Romeo Squad, because that question also was raised, and second, the illegal slaughterhouses being banned. Number one, as far as the Romeo Squad is concerned, let's remember that the state has to change a perception from ladke to ladke hain, unse galti ho jati hai, to a state where, in fact, women feel safe. And I'm very happy because I have been watching your channel, the English version and the Hindi version also. And women from all across Uttar Pradesh have come out and they have welcomed this step taken by Yogi Adityanath, saying that today they feel very safe because they can see the flying squad of police all around them. And I agree with Mr. Owaisi. He was absolutely right with the statistical point that there is a 55% shortage of police person. And to be very specific, let me tell you, the data is 180 police persons per lakh population is what is required, but we have only 80 police personnel per lakh population. But that does not mean, since we do not have the police personnel on the ground, we cannot just change that scenario in a single day, but the perception needs to change the moment the government changes from Gayatri Prajapati to Gayatri Mantra. That is the kind of perception change. That means you are safe. You are not under the auspices of a Gayatri Prajapati like minister who had to be coaxed by the Supreme Court of India.
Nawab Jafar Mir Abdullah, as somebody who comes from one of the erstwhile long-standing families of Lucknow, what are you making of these changes? Are these steps in the right direction, shutting down slaughterhouses, these anti-Romeo squads, the drive against illegal construction? Or do you think that because of these measures, the fringe is feeling emboldened and they're getting a chance to run amok?
You see, to a certain extent, these are good changes which are to be brought. But such drastic changes which is happening, banning the slaughterhouses, bringing anti-Romeo squads in the parks, and today I got the news that at the riverfront here at Lucknow, all those carts were selling tea and certain snacks. They have been driven out from there, although they were having the valid licenses and the permits to run those carts. My own niece, she is running an organization of disabled persons. She is trying that they should come in the main street and the main line, and she is helping them psychologically, and they were doing the business on these carts selling tea and biscuits. They have been driven out from there on the pretext of anti-Romeo squads, that the Romeos come and have tea or they do wrong things. It is not so.
That's a
Even
good
the elderly
point.
people,
That's a good point. Let Sambit Patra respond. Yes, there is a problem with law and order in Uttar Pradesh. Nobody can contest that. But how do you deal with overzealousness? Going after somebody who's harassing a woman is one thing. What about a couple that's just hanging out in the park, whether it's the Gomti riverfront or anywhere else in Uttar Pradesh? Surely in a country like India, as Ranjita Ranjan said in Parliament, hak hai logon ko pyar karne ka. You can't be opposed to love. If people are sitting around, hanging around, that's okay. How do you, why should they feel threatened? Why should they have to look over their shoulder and wonder which anti-Romeo squad guy, whether he's a khaki police officer or just a vigilant, is going to come after them?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And these concerns, in fact, we should be addressing. And let me do this right now over here. Overreach is never good. But remember, change of perception. It's a famous English saying that it's always good to err on the right side. And what is the right side in this? The right side is, over years, in fact, the women of Uttar Pradesh have not felt safe. They have not felt safe under the very nose of their own ministers. They have not felt safe under the very nose of their own policemen, because the policemen, in fact, were shielding the ones who were rapists in the past. So naturally, with the same policeman with the force, because we cannot change the force overnight, so naturally with the same, the political will wants that the perception should change. So, well, yes, the policemen have to be sensitized over the years, which cannot be done overnight. We would do that. We would see to it that there is some kind of overhauling in the police mechanism so that they're trained in the best possible manner. But till then, if there is some kind of overreach, we will correct that. And that's what Mr. Rajnath Singh said. But you would all agree to the fact that because of this flying squad treatment, the women on the street, the common women on the street of Lucknow and other places in Uttar Pradesh are feeling extremely safe. And that is what the priority is, to give a blanket of safety to our women in Uttar Pradesh.
This is a story we'll keep tracking very closely. But I want to slip into a break and then come back to the story that Assuddin Owaisi spoke about, because this is a big India Today exclusive. Remember, the Supreme Court Chief Justice said that there must be mediation, that there must be talks between both sides of the Ayodhya dispute. What India Today did is actually bring on one stage both sides, both the litigants in the Babri Masjid case, the Hindu side and the Muslim side. Come back, you're with us on the newsroom, and I bring you now this ground report from Ayodhya. Remember, the Supreme Court spoke of mediation, a new round of dialogue to see if a solution could be arrived at in Ayodhya. I've got Assuddin Owaisi, Sambit Patra and Nawab Jafar Mir Abdullah with us on the broadcast. Before I begin part 2, I want to get you this report filed by my colleague Nishant Chaturvedi from Ayodhya, where for the first time after the Supreme Court observation, he actually put both sides of this dispute on the same stage and asked them whether at all it's possible that a solution be found through dialogue. Remember, these voices are important because these are the voices that are the voices of the litigants. Everything else you've been hearing on TV is essentially just noise. So listen to the voices that matter, the voices from the ground.
जब तक यह मामला मंदिर मस्जिद सॉल्व नहीं होगा, तब तक भारत का उत्थान नहीं कहा जा जी।
हम लोग भी चाहते हैं कि मंदिर और मस्जिद का जो है झगड़ा जो है वो खत्म हो और सारे लोग मिल बैठ करके इसकी बातचीत करेंगे। जहाँ रामलला विराजमान है वहाँ मंदिर बने, उससे दूरी पर मस्जिद बने।
Up for dialogue in this nondescript hall is India's explosive dispute, a flashpoint that sets off Hindus and Muslims on a collision course. After the country's top court recommended a negotiated settlement of the festering Ayodhya conflict, India today took a rare initiative. Nirmohi Akhada, Babri Masjid Action Committee, bringing community leaders involved in the protracted feud under one roof. The Nirmohi Akhada and Hindu religious figures and representatives of the Babri Masjid Action Committee on a single platform. The texture of this unprecedented discussion on national TV is calm and conciliatory. For the first time on television, both sides agreed to building a temple and mosque on the same 77-acre compound.
ये पूरे विश्व स्तर का मामला है, पूरे हिंदुस्तान का मामला है। जब तक यह मामला मंदिर मस्जिद सॉल्व नहीं होगा, तब तक भारत का उत्थान नहीं कहा जा जी। जहाँ रामलला विराजमान है वहाँ मंदिर बने, उससे दूरी पर मस्जिद बने। तमाम मस्जिद देश में निर्णय आएगा, वो आपस में सुलह होगा, सब लोग आपस में तय कर देंगे।
You heard the Hindu representatives proposing a Ram temple alongside a mosque on the same site, a site that has been at the root of some of the country's worst communal rioting. Muslim representatives in this dialogue echoed the same solution.
और सारे लोग मिल बैठ करके इसकी बातचीत करेंगे और ये जितनी जल्दी से जल्दी ये मसला सॉल्व हो जाएगा, दोनों बन जाएगा, तो ये हमारे अयोध्या का विकास होगा।
As this historical meeting progressed, the two parties also spelled out a mechanism for formal negotiations.
नहीं, इसमें तो आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को पहल करना चाहिए और अगर स्वयं नहीं कर सकते तो किसी को वो नियुक्त कर सकते हैं।
Broadly, the Nirmohi Akhada and Babri Masjid Action Committee concurred with each other. A. On building a Ram temple and a mosque side by side. B. The government should hold talks separately with the parties involved. C. The centre or the UP administration appoints a special envoy for the proposed negotiations. But both unanimously rejected participation of hardliners in any dialogue. They were in particular upset with the role of BJP leader Subramanian Swamy and petitioner Haji Mehboob.
सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी जैसे लोगों अपना मुंह बंद करें। हमारे कहने का परिणाम इनको अथराइज किसने किया?
सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी ने कहा कि मस्जिद जो है पुल व्यापार बना दो, सरजू उस पार बना दो। तो क्या अयोध्या में मस्जिद नहीं थी? तो जो है ऐसी बात करने वाले ऐसी बात करते हैं कि इसका सुलह समझौता हो ही नहीं सकता।
On their part, Swamy and Mehboob sought to downplay the agreements arrived at India Today's platform.
कितने दिन हम समझौता के लिए इंतजार करेंगे? बातचीत नहीं करोगे तो हमारे लिए रास्ता बहुत साफ है।
ये बने तो एक ही बनना चाहिए। वहाँ मस्जिद मंदिर बनना हमें इनकार नहीं है। मंदिर है जहाँ राम चबूतरा, वहाँ से बन जाए। मस्जिद की जगह छोड़ दी जाए।
Where there's will, there's a way. So goes an old adage. India today has laid the foundation of what could be a peaceful way to iron out the age-old strife through talks. With Nishant Chaturvedi in Ayodhya, Bureau Report, India Today.
This is the kind of ground report, genuine reportage that you won't see on any other channel. What I see elsewhere mostly is just noise. These were real voices from the ground suggesting a very constructive 4-point formula. And I just want to take you through what they're saying. First and foremost, that and this is coming from both sides, both the Hindu community and the Muslim community. Point number one, mandir and a masjid should be built on those 2.7 acres. Point number two, that the centre should send a representative to meet both communities. Point number three, that both communities should sit together with a mediator and find a solution. And the last and final point, that hardliners like Subramaniam Swamy and Haji Mehboob should be kept away from this. I want to go across to Asaduddin Owaisi. Now, these are very sensible points being made by the litigants in this case, and what it suggests to me, looking at from the outside, is that if you keep the hardliners, the extremists, those who want to light a fire out, on the ground, both litigants from the Hindu and the Muslim community seem to be quite willing to find a solution. Mr. Owaisi?
Well, Rahul, if you please go back in time, when Chandrasekhar was the Prime Minister, he had formed a 3 Chief Ministers Committee of Mulayam Singh Yadav, Bhairon Singh Shekhawat and Sharad Pawar. Then Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister. He had made 2 MOS, Subodh Khan Sai and then the late Kumar Mangalam. And so these have not resulted in any fruitful result or talks. The whole controversy, Rahul, what I find surprising and shocking and perplexing is that you have Harsh Mandar, who went to Supreme Court against the Sohrabuddin encounter in relation to Amit Shah. The court said he has no locus standi. I am shocked. With all the respect I have for the Supreme Court, Mr. Swamy has no locus standi. He is not a party to the dispute. See, this is a purely title dispute. If I have the documents to prove my title, let the Supreme Court decide. And you and me can understand the eagerness of those people who your channel have spoken to, that they want an end to this issue. In my opinion, the best way of doing it is let Modi government go to the Supreme Court and please make a petition Supreme Court asking that as you are hearing in summer holidays triple talaq case, please hear this on day-to-day basis. Till August this issue would be heard and a judgment would come. Because I am pretty much sure that this is a civil dispute, this is a title dispute. So let this government go and tell the Supreme Court, and I'm sure Supreme Court will never decide this issue on Astha. This is a title dispute, and if it
Can I please?
No, because the Supreme Court Chief Justice did say, Mr. Owaisi, that this is about sentiment, this is about belief. The Chief Justice and the 2 other judges on the bench said this in court. Sambit Patra, but Asaduddin Owaisi makes an important point. He's saying The talks have been tried in the past, they didn't succeed.
Please,
why should they be
Rahul,
tried again?
Can I?
Okay, very quickly, because I also want to listen to some.
I have heard a lot. Can I please answer now?
Yeah,
First
Dr.
and foremost, Mr. Asauddin Owaisi makes a fundamental mistake by not accepting the fact that the Chief Justice of India in fact used three very important words. One, he said that this is a sensitive issue. Second, this is a sentimental issue, what we call in Hindi astha. And third, he said an amicable solution out of the court should be tried before we say yes to the contest in the court. Now, having said that, what Mr. Asauddin Owaisi was trying to stress right now was that this is just a title case. That means this is just a land dispute. Now, this is where the whole dispute and this is where the whole difference lies. For people like Mr. Owaisi, this is just a matter of land, just a dispute for land. For people like me and millions like me in India, it is not land. It is belief, it is faith that my Lord, my God, Ram was born on that piece of land. What you are is just a piece of land. That is the basic difference, and that is the reason as to why the Supreme
Asauddin
Court
Owaisi, would you like to respond to that?
Let me just complete this.
Yes, go on.
Let me just complete this 10 seconds. See, the Supreme Court followed the legal maxim, which very famously said that even a bad compromise is better than a good lawsuit. Because in a bad compromise, at least there is no stalemate for years together between the two communities. But in a good lawsuit also, one loses and one is victorious.
Okay, Asauddin Owaisi, to say that Ayodhya is only a title suit really takes away from what this debate is all about. It's much more than just a simple title suit. This is about belief, this is about sentiment, and that can't be disregarded. What's interesting is the litigants from the Muslim community also in Ayodhya are saying they're willing for dialogue. They're saying keep the hardliners away.
Who says so?
No, the litigants, the son of the litigant was on our broadcast. He's saying keep the hardliners away, and he believes that both a mandir and a masjid should be built there. They're in fact saying the Hindus will help build the masjid, the Muslims can help build the temple. Would that not be the right way to approach this, Mr. Owaisi?
You know, you and the BJP spokesperson, may I request you very humbly, please read the documents filed by all the parties in the Supreme Court. It is a title suit. It is not a suit based on faith. And can Rahul Kamal decide an issue on the basis of faith? If you are made the Chief Justice of India, you will say, no, I will decide it according to the Civil Procedure Act, the title suit. And secondly, please remember that the Supreme Court Chief Justice said that this is an issue sentimental to both the parties. Now, my point is, here you have Mr. Swamy, who's not a party in this dispute. And may I remind the BJP spokesperson, I'm sure he knows CPC Section 89, the Supreme Court can do mediation, but that has to be done with the consent of the parties. Again, Mr. Swamy is not a party. And when you talk about faith, may I remind all of you that the President of India had made a similar questionnaire to Supreme Court that decide whether Ram was born here, and the Supreme Court said no, we will not decide this question at all. So my case in the Supreme Court is a title suit based on my documents. If my title is proven, I will get that land. If not, otherwise the Supreme Court will decide. So you know, this is an issue of land, and please don't bring into faith, and no court in the world can educate on matters of faith. The courts of law are made to decide on either CPC or CRPC law of evidence. No one can
very
sit there and
quick
decide on
final
faith.
words. I want to listen to Nawab Saab also. 1 second. Tell me, Jafar Saab, do you believe a
these are very harsh words. These are very harsh words.
Okay,
Mr. Asauddin Owaisi,
quickly, because I've got some breaking news coming in. Quickly.
Mr. Owaisi, for you, Makkah Madinah is not a piece of land. It is matter of faith. Please dare not call Ram Janmabhoomi as just a piece of land. For millions, it is faith. So please don't play with the faith of millions of Indians. And secondly, I may not know Section 89, but the Chief Justice of India definitely knows law more than you.
Threaten me.
No.
You
No,
cannot
sir.
threaten me.
No,
you can
who
hold
is
your
threatening?
opinion. Give
Who
your
is
opinion.
threatening
Don't
you,
threaten
sir?
me.
Yaqub
I will
Memon
not
was
get
hanged
cowed
because
down
he
by
was a
your threats.
Muslim. That was said
I
by
will
you.
never get cowed
You
down
said
by your
Yaqub
threats.
Memon was
We are
hanged
having a
because
debate.
he was a Muslim, and you challenged the Chief Justice of India then.
Good.
Yet again you are challenging the Chief Justice of India.
So you should
You
hang.
can challenge everyone, and no one can challenge you. You can challenge everyone in this country. You can challenge the faith of millions of Indians.
Please do
but
that.
I cannot challenge you. Why? You are God? You can challenge my faith.
This is a
you can
debate.
challenge my
Don't
Ram.
threaten
But
me.
I cannot challenge you.
Challenging is not a threat.
Who is threatening you, sir?
Challenging is not a
You
threat.
have threatened the
I'm
faith
not God
of
and
millions
neither
of
are you
Hindus
God.
of this country.
And these in
You
courts
have
of
threatened
law,
the
matters
faith
of
of
faith are not
millions of
decided.
Hindus of this country
No.
by saying that no faith is
I will
attached
say
to
the
Ram
truth.
Janmabhoomi.
I will
It
say
is
the
not
truth. I
just
don't
land
care if it hurts
like
you. The
For
truth
me,
is
it is
the
faith.
title suit.
Just as for you, Makkah Medina is just not land, it is faith. I hope you don't consider Makkah Medina just as a piece of land.
Okay,
I hope
gentlemen,
you consider
gentlemen,
Makkah
can I
Medina with the prism of
make a
faith.
very humble request, please? This is a very, very contentious issue. Let's try and keep tempers down. Let's try and amicably see if a solution can be found, or else let's wait for the Supreme Court to adjudicate. If no middle ground can be found, wait for the Supreme Court to decide, because that's something that both sides say they're okay with. I want to end this debate because I've got some breaking news coming in. But before that, I want to thank Asuddin Owaisi, Dr. Sambit Patra for joining us. Thank you also, Jafar Saab, for joining us. People on the ground, the litigants, are willing for dialogue. Some of the others don't seem that willing. I will not take sides. I leave it to you to decide where you stand.